Good day, Kurt here again with Airsoft Taiwan. But today I'd like to introduce another new tool that we're selling. This is a Plastic Reamer, and originally designed for remote controls like the thin Lexan bodies reaming holes, but it has much more uses than that. I found there's all kinds of uses for it. This is made from CNC aluminum with a nice iodized coating. One feature that's nice, it's got a nice swivel on the end here, so when you have it on your palm and you're turning it, it doesn't rub your palm or make it sore after doing a lot of holes. The protective cover, because it's very sharp, is held on by an O-ring here and fits nice and tight, seals up solid. You can see here that this tool has a bunch of graduations in millimeters, starting out around 2, 3, 4, all the way up to 13 millimeter holes. Now, you can use this tool for just about anything around the house, for any type of plastic, like arts and craft projects. I've used it for scooter fairings. I've used it on the inner fender well of my truck to put an airline through it, for putting mud flaps on. Just unlimited uses for anything that's like plastics or really thin pieces of wood or even fiberglass. It will bore through very nicely. Now I'd like to talk about the precision of this tool. Because of the markings on the blade here, you can easily make a hole to any size you want. And I found when you watch these lines, the holes are almost always perfect. I'm going to make a couple holes here now. Using the graduated lines. And you can see when it cuts the holes, it does a very clean and very beautiful circle. Okay, so you can see I've made a few holes. I think I've made around 5, 6, 8, and 10 millimeter holes. Now, I just check simply by eye how close we are to actual size. This one was to make around 10 mils, and there it is, right at 10 mils. And just by looking by eye, I think this one was an 8 millimeter one, and very close to 8 mil. Next hole, I think I made it 6 mils, right in there. You know, within a few percent of, there we go, right at 6 mils. It's tight in there. And the first one, I think I made around 5 millimeters. And again, very close to 5 millimeters just by eye. Maybe a couple percent off, but very easy to make perfectly round holes and get the sizes almost exact. You can see on something thicker, 2 or 3 millimeters thick, I also did some holes, and just by eye, let's see how close we came there. I think this one was a 5 millimeter, just about right on. This one here is right on 6 mil, tiny bit over. 8 millimeter hole, and I think this was an 11 millimeter hole. And you know, all very, very close, within a couple percent of being perfect. This is very similar to something that I did on my truck. You know, so when you have a piece of, you want to go through, you can just use your caliper, measure up 8 millimeters, have the 8 millimeter hole, get a very snug, tight fit. This is, I did on the fender well of my truck from the compressor back to my airbags. It was about the same thickness, 3-4 mils of plastic, and you end up with a perfect fit. A quick example just for the RC car body here. There's little indentations for lights here. I'd ordered some lights. They were 8 millimeter holes is what they requested for it to have. You know, you just find out where you want to put the light. Very lightly push on it. And it will just turn it and cut it until you hit the 8 millimeter line. And it cuts just a perfectly round hole. And the accuracy, if you look here, sorry, I'll have to go from this side. You can see the numbers. The accuracy should be very close to 8 millimeters. And there you go. Very accurate hole, very nice and round, and you can put your light in there. It will fit snug. Makes it almost perfect every time. Yesterday I was making a battery pack for my AEG airsoft gun, and we have the caps here, which our wire fits perfectly through, but I was building a cap which I needed 2 wires to come off the battery. So using this tool, I very easily bored out the hole quickly so you can fit 2 through, and simple will go on the top of the battery yet, and it makes everything neat and clean. So it's a tool that becomes very handy for all kinds of different things. Around the house, you'll find many uses for this tool. So if you like this plastic reaming tool, you'll find that it's a great addition for anybody who does hobbies, arts and crafts, or just little fixing around the house. It's incredibly handy, and you'll find you'll use it more and more for many different things. It's a great addition to anyone's toolbox. If you'd like to get one, it will be available on our Airsoft Taiwan online shop.